I'm Dave First. Great to be joined by the Rookie of the Year in the NTT INDYCAR Series in 2023, Marcus Armstrong, as we take a look back a little bit to the season, maybe a look ahead to 2024 a bit. First things first, though, Rookie of the Year. What stood out in 2023 for you?
Well, it was a. I honestly must say that it seems like yesterday I was doing my testing at Thermal. Like, it doesn't even seem that long ago that we were preparing for the season. I've got to say that I've learned a lot. Like, it's been one of those years where every single day at the track I've learned something, which is pretty phenomenal, really. I mean, I've spent the last couple of years in F2, which is a big challenge on its own. But to be challenged like this day in, day out, it's been an awesome experience.
Are you a different person from Thermal to the end of the season in WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca?
I think my hairline's probably gone back maybe half an inch. No.
Well, the good news is you got plenty, so it's all good. Yeah.
I actually don't, mate. I'm struggling. I'm struggling big time.
Really? You've got a receding hairline?
Yeah, you can speak to my teammate Alex Pablo as well. We're both having a bit of a race to see who can lose their hairline the quickest. So.
All right, these are first world problems, clearly. But
big racing driver problem.
But you're a different person, you think, huh?
Yes, I do. I feel like it's what. Competing against Scott Dixon, Alex Pablo, Marcus Ericsson inside the same team, on a competition, on a sporting level, it raises you to a different level. And I feel very privileged to be in that situation. And thanks to them, I feel like I'm a more all-rounded driver. Scott's a great example. I feel like he's an engineer in a driver's body, and you can learn a million things from him every single day. And each and every one of them have a quality that you can learn from. So I've been like a diligent little student trying to learn and pick all the pieces that I can. So,
well, when you're 23 and Rookie of the Year, you should be soaking it all in, especially when you've got, like you mentioned, a driver lineup. Dixon's won 6 championships. Alex now has 2. Just to be a fly on the wall and just to see their thought process on things is probably pretty interesting.
For sure, and not only the drivers as well, because the team is very experienced. I think, I know a lot of engineers and mechanics that have been in that team for longer than I've been alive. So, which is not, I'm not trying to be insulting at all, but when someone is talking about the days with, Montoya and these
Zanardi.
Legends like this. It's cool to hear, because I draw inspiration from those experiences. And it seems like back in the day it was just all about racing, and there was nothing, no distractions. And I find it really interesting just to learn from those people that have been there and seen it.
It's a different era too. I mean, you mentioned Montoya, Zanardi, certainly Dario, Scott, but it was a different era in terms of testing. I mean, those guys they had more test days than they had races. Back in those days, and just to think, I mean, it is what it is now, but to be in the seat that long, certainly they had a different advantage than maybe you did coming in as a rookie and doing a partial season like this.
Yeah, Scott said that a couple of times to me, really, that nowadays you don't get any track time. Like, you get really minimal track time. So for a rookie to just arrive here, like, I don't want to make excuses at all, but these tracks are difficult to learn, and this car as well is an animal to drive. So to jump in with minimal track time, it's a bigger challenge than what I was expecting. Sometimes I'm a bit jealous of the olden days when they used to just go out and hack around and do 30,000 Ks a year in testing. I don't know what that is in miles. I'm still learning my...
I didn't know there was going to be math involved, but that's fine too. So you got...
Well, it's a little secret. My engineer has the calculation from miles to Ks and liters to gallons or whatever measuring metric you want to use.
You're still going meters and liters versus everything else, right? So
it's a confusion, but my engineer has that on his laptop ready to go. Sitting in the car, he'll tell me, temperature difference, la-di-da-di-da, Celsius, Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So that's been a bigger challenge than I thought as well.
5 top 10s for you. I know you're still trying to get to the podium and wins and all that, but what did you learn the most, would you say, in your rookie year?
That's a good question. I wish I was prepared for this one. There's so much. I think the racing wheel to wheel, that's been a big one, because in Europe you certainly have to be a little bit more reserved and patient, because the cars are just so fragile. Even in F2, you know, if you made contact like we do in IndyCar, I think the thing would just fall to pieces. So yeah, here you can race real hard, and others will race you very hard. Like if you let someone bully you, you're going to be bullied the entire season. So it's kind of like, in a way, going back to karting. You know, relearning the way that you know, hit side pods and just send it, for lack of a better word. I think that's been a real cool thing to relearn.
In your opinion, what was your best race this year?
I'd say that the hardest race, I'll start with the hardest one, was Toronto. I, for some reason, I didn't click with that track. And that was actually my best result, I think. I think I finished
7th, I believe.
Something like that. And that race was very hard, and I just sort of kept my nose clean and stayed out of trouble, and the guys on the pit wall did a great job. And the what do you call it in America? Not the pit wall, the box.
Pit box.
Pit
stall.
Sure, pit stall. There's a word for it, I've forgotten it. The stand.
Oh, pit stand.
Yeah,
there
the
you
stand.
go. Yeah.
Still learning the lingo.
Welcome to America.
Best race. I thought Laguna Seca was going to be a goodie. The last one of the season, that was on target for a very good one, and Road America as well was going well to a certain point. So, a few highlights. I can't nail one down.
Let me just throw out a couple of races here. Long Beach started 12th, finished 8th. Pretty steady race for you, right?
Yeah, that was my second race in IndyCar. Still like learning the schedule and, you know, getting the rhythm of the weekend right, and the evolution of the track, all the boring stuff. I was still learning that a little bit with these, you know, Firestones. And yeah, much like every other street track this year, I just kept my nose clean and sort of made decisive moves when I needed to. The guys on the pit stand did a good job there as well, and we had a very fast car. Like, we were always putting pressure on the car ahead, and for me it felt like I was just sort of easily being on the pace with the leaders. So I did learn a few things from Alex Palou in that race, because he was behind me at one point and he did a big fuel-saving stint and jumped me on an overcut. So I sort of learned that the hard way, but that was a real cool race.
Barber, you started 26th, which would be next to last with 27 starters. You finished 11th.
Yeah, that was a long race. I vividly remember having to pull over because I ran out of fuel after the race, and then
you and everyone else, I think.
Me and everyone else, and then I had to catch a flight in about an hour. So I like jumped out of the car and ran directly to my rental car. So that was fun.
Fire suit, boots, and all.
Pretty much. Yeah, not far off. But that race was chaos. Good strategy once again. Started on the red. You know, the thing is, I look back at these races and I think, you know, it could have been so much better.
Right.
Even if I did start P26. But yeah, that was a fun one.
Couple more. Detroit started 11th, finished 8th. Kind of like Long Beach, steady road, street course.
Detroit was a great race.
Yeah.
We had such a fast car there, a really bumpy circuit, and all four of us were flying. Like, I think any Ganassi car that day could have won the race if it was for, I mean, obviously Alex did win the race, as he did a few this year, but Scott had so much pace in the pocket, myself and Marcus. The only thing that stopped us from winning the race really was, you know, a couple of Penske and Andretti cars sort of boxing us up, I think. But Alex had a clear road ahead and he dominated. Yeah. But yeah, that's one of those races that I wish I could do again, because there was just so much potential there.
It's one of those things you probably wanted to continue. Can we go another 20 laps and see what happens here, you know?
Yeah. It was one of those races.
Last thing, best qualifying session of the season was the second Indy GP here, when you started 7th, almost made the Firestone Fast 6.
Right, yeah. Don't remind me, mate.
Finished 24th. Are you going to talk about that or no?
No, I missed out on the Fast 6 by nil. It was...
Yeah.
It's still painful, yeah.
Finished 24th in that race? What
That's right.
happened? Okay, never mind.
Yeah. No, you can ask my teammate Alex. No, I was giving him some crap the other day because we were having a sponsor event, and it's like, what was your low point of the season, Marcus? And I looked at Alex and I was like, I don't know. You remember Indy Road Course? Like, I don't know. Someone hit me from nowhere. I don't know who it was, but that was a bummer. But that's
you're
again,
barely getting going in that race, and all of a sudden, right?
Yeah, we went into turn something over here,
6,
turn
yeah.
5, and I mean it's 3 wide. It's a classic IndyCar mishap. You know, no one's fault really. Just three into 1 doesn't work, and then I got tagged by Alex. So I definitely don't hold a grudge for it because once again it's IndyCar racing and anything can happen. But yeah, it could have been a good day for us.
Yeah. All right, who's the most intimidating driver in the series?
The most intimidating driver.
Yeah.
Well, no one's like grabbed me by the scruff of the neck and thrown me up against a wall or anything. That actually happened in karting. So.
Wait a minute, what?
Yeah, an American driver once, when I was like a kid, he was like twice my age. He like grabbed me and like threw me up against the wall.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of this?
Yeah, it was Gary Carlton. I'm coming to get you.
Now look at me. I'm in IndyCar. There you go. Come
Yeah.
after me. Let's go.
And then I thought he was going to kill me at the next race as well. And I was like, anyway.
Okay, so that's the gold standard. That clearly hasn't happened yet. But who, if you see someone on the track,
Yeah.
okay, I got to watch what I'm doing here with this guy.
Well, there's a few guys that you give an extra meter or so when you're sort of wheel to wheel with them. I'm not going to name them, but I would say, I don't find anyone intimidating to race against.
Okay.
Like, there's a few people that I know will lunge me from nowhere, so I've got to be wary that this guy's going to send it. Marcus Armstrong being one of them. Like, he hasn't done me anything. Despite being one of my best mates on the grid, that guy will send it in on me every single time. So Marcus is always someone I need to be wary of. Scott was actually pretty nice to me at Laguna Seca, apart from the fact that he sort of pushed Pedersen into me. No, I'm joking.
Oh, here we go.
Who else? Rossi, he's a big sender, so always be wary when he's around. A few others as well, but essentially I'm not intimidated by anyone. We're all racing drivers, and once you put the visor down,
But it also speaks to how competitive this series is.
Yeah.
You can't give up an inch, because if you do, you might only lose one position. You might lose a couple positions, right? I mean, it's pretty tight.
Yeah, exactly. And once, for whatever reason, these tires, they throw so much rubber, how do you call it, marbles, that once you're a meter offline or even less, you're gone. You're going to lose maybe 5 or 6 places. So that's another reason why you just need to send it and be on the inside and never really be on the outside. And I love the rules here, because if you are on the outside, it's your fault if you're going off. It's not like many other championships that I've raced in, where if you're hanging around the outside and some guy just doesn't leave you room, that guy gets a penalty. I don't think that's right. I think that the guy on the outside should be the one who, you're in control of your own destiny. So that's another reason why I like IndyCar racing.
All right, we talked about it, guys that intimidate or not. Is there a big pushover out there that you're like, I see this guy, he'll give me whatever I need to get around?
That's kind of mean.
Okay. I just wonder if you'd go there. I'm just curious.
That's so mean. No,
that's the right
honestly,
answer.
There is not one driver out there. Actually, I was going to say Callum, because he's one of my very close mates, but he was bashing push to pass one time when I was lapping him at Long Beach, and I was like, dude, come on. You've got car damage, you're a second off the pace, and you're still trying to keep me behind you. But
hey, that's IndyCar. You don't give up an inch, man.
I know.
Unless you're a lap down to the whole field.
Tell me about it. Mid-Ohio was a great example.
Here we go.
I was like battling for the World Karting Championship, like with a lapped car, You know who I'm talking about.
Maybe. Yeah, it's fine. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's IndyCar, baby.
Yeah.
As mentioned, full-time next year, including ovals, which you had an opportunity to get your rookie Speedway test out of the way recently. What was that like, hopping on an oval like Texas Motor Speedway and hauling what around that place?
Yeah, wow. I took a photo of myself. I can send it to you just before I jumped in the car, because I was like, I was actually kind of like, this is the most nervous I've been to jump in a race car since I was about 13 years old.
Really?
and because it was like I just didn't know what to expect. Like, what is it going to feel like? I've got no idea. I knew as much as you would about, I don't know, you probably know more than me about what it would feel like to drive around an oval before that test. So, yeah, I was nervous to start with, but then I got in the car and I enjoyed it so much more than I thought. Just the speed, the feeling of the compression, the grip was insane, considering we have basically no flap angle on the car. And the fact that you need to keep like reminding yourself to look up the road, because where you normally look is you're already past it. You know, you need to keep your eyes further up the road. So reminding myself of that was like, it's a bit mind-blowing. And then I was just laughing like hell on my in lap. I was like, this is so much fun. Like, I just didn't expect it. And then I jumped out and I was a bit dizzy, which is apparently a normal thing.
Not uncommon.
Yeah, I didn't know that. No one had told me that before. But I jumped out and I was like, whoa, kind of like a bit dazed. And I was just like, dude, this is so cool. Like, I can't wait to be racing and like pushing myself like that mentally for an entire race distance. It's just going to be awesome.
It's got to whet your appetite for a place like this in the Indianapolis 500, which you experienced as a fan, or at least an employee of Chip Ganassi Racing.
Yeah.
But now you're going to be in the car. It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw it as a fan, and it's difficult to sometimes understand it from the sidelines, the significance of preparing for a race like that, just because it's so intense. Like, the concentration level is, I think driving, like, obviously, I've only done one day on an oval, but the concentration level that I had to maintain throughout the day, I think, was much more than what I was ever having to do on a street circuit, when you're, millimeters from a wall every single corner. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm not used to it yet, but it's just the amount of brain power that it requires is just insane.
Yeah. Well, you got a pretty good guy in Dario Franchitti on the pit stand.
He was actually spotting for me as well.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah.
So
he was up on the roof. He had the radio headset talking to me when I was driving on my first run. He's like, "Young Marcus, do you mind if I give you a few pointers when we're out there?" That's a bit Irish.
I was going to say that actually. Scottish, Irish, it's fine, whatever.
And I said, "Yeah, go for gold, mate. Tell me all you want to tell me."
Yeah.
And I just wanted to know essentially if I was on the right part of the track. If my line was completely wrong or something going into turn 1 or exit of 4 or something like that. And I don't know if he was just trying to be nice to me, but he was giving me some nice words of love when I was driving.
Words of love.
Words of love.
That's what we're going to call it. Okay, good. Off season's here. What's your plans? A lot of podcasting.
I got to leave something to the imagination, don't I?
Okay, whatever. I was thinking podcasting, which you do a lot of. So
yeah, I might do a couple of podcasts. I am going on holiday in a couple of days. I'm going to Brazil for a few days. A couple of my old F2 mates, and then back to London for a bit. I'll be back here doing some bits and pieces, a few projects, getting ready for next year. I think you'd be bored to tears by my off-season plans, honestly. I plan to be in a gym, getting ready for the season, and getting ready to dominate next year.
But that's not boring, because when you think about it, you blink and the St. Pete opener is going to be here. It's only, less than 6 months away.
Yeah.
So it's going to be here quickly.
Exactly. And I've got the NFL to keep me excited. I'm a big American sports fan.
Yeah? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? I know you're a big Niners fan, right? Big Dolphins fan.
Well, who are you a fan of?
I grew up being a fan of the Chicago Bears.
Oh, my condolences.
So we have 1 year in '85, and that's it after that. And we're still living in 1985, but that's fine.
So who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
I mean, if the Chiefs can stay healthy, they're probably the odds-on favorite, right? But yeah, I know you're not a Chiefs fan, though.
So let's put some money on it then. Let's put $200.
$200,
yeah.
Okay.
So are you saying the Chiefs?
If that helps the video.
I'm saying
today,
Niners.
Yes.
I'm saying Niners.
Niners.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty good, right?
With the young buck at quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on my fantasy team, so I actually need him to do well.
Or the Cowboys are looking good as well.
Cowboys is a big start, right?
But I've been saying that for the past 5 years. So
yeah.
knows?
Who's the underdog? There's always a team that comes out of nowhere that all of a sudden is in a championship game.
Oh.
Maybe not the Super Bowl. I mean,
Well,
Jaguars, maybe?
No.
No?
I guess the Dolphins are not really an underdog. But
don't know. Yeah.
I think too many weapons on the outside, you know, good O-line,
Yeah.
11 yards of play. You can't go wrong.
How are you? You should be on NBC Sunday Night Football with this. What are you doing racing? My God.
Well, can you put in a good
Put in a
word?
good word. Well, let's see what you can do.
I want to be announcing the game.
Huh? We can work on that too.
Sweet.
Have a great off season.
Thanks, boss.
See you in 2024.
Appreciate it.
Marcus Armstrong.